The art of portraiture. The Renaissance era, a golden age for portraiture. The Renaissance, spanning from the 14th to the 17th century, was a time of great cultural, artistic, and intellectual transformation in Europe. It was an era that saw a resurgence of interest in classical Greek and Roman culture, as well as a renewed focus on humanism and individualism. This shift in perspective had a profound impact on the art world, particularly in the realm of portraiture. A new era of realism during the Renaissance, portraiture underwent a significant transformation, moving away from the stiff, formal representations of medieval art to more realistic and nuanced depictions of individuals. Artists such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael pioneered this new approach, using techniques like sfumato and chiaroscuro to create depth, volume, and emotional depth in their portraits. The rise of the portrait as a genre. As the Renaissance progressed, the portrait emerged as a distinct genre, with artists competing to capture the likenesses of prominent figures, from royals to merchants. The portrait became a means of conveying status, power, and wealth, as well as a vehicle for exploring the human psyche. Artists like Titian and Hans Holbein the Younger mastered the art of capturing the subtleties of human expression, crafting portraits that seemed to pulse with life. The art of illusion. Renaissance portraitists also developed a range of techniques to create the illusion of presence, from the use of trompe-l'oeil to the manipulation of perspective. These innovations allowed artists to create portraits that were not only visually stunning but also psychologically astute, inviting the viewer to engage with the subject on a deeper level. In summary, the Renaissance era marked a pivotal moment in the evolution of portraiture as artists pushed the boundaries of realism, technique, and emotional depth. This chapter has set the stage for our exploration of the art of portraiture, highlighting the key developments and innovations that would shape the genre for centuries to come. 1550. Florence, 1553, a city of Renaissance splendor, the sun-kissed city Florence, the capital of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany, basked in the golden light of a warm summer morning in 1550. The Arno River, which bisected the city, sparkled like a ribbon of silver, reflecting the majestic beauty of the surrounding hills. As the day awakened, the narrow streets and alleys came alive with the gentle hum of activity. Merchant stalls, adorned with vibrant awnings, lined the streets, offering an array of exotic spices, fine silks, and fresh produce. The heart of the city. The Piazza della Signoria. In the heart of Florence, the Piazza della Signoria stood as a testament to the city's rich history and cultural heritage. This grand square was dominated by the imposing Palazzo Vecchio, the seat of government, with its fortified walls and soaring tower. The Loggia dei Lanzi, a stunning example of Renaissance architecture, stood adjacent, its arched colonnades sheltering iconic works of art, including Michelangelo's majestic statue of David. The artistic and intellectual hub. Florence was a city pulsing with creative energy, attracting the greatest minds of the era. The Accademia delle Arti del Disegno, founded by Michelangelo and other prominent artists, nurtured the talents of emerging masters like Alessandro Allori and Bronzino. The Uffizi Gallery, a former palace, housed an impressive collection of Renaissance art, showcasing the works of Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, and other luminaries. Summary. Florence in 1550 was a vibrant, thriving metropolis where beauty, art, and intellect converged. As the home of Lucrezia, our protagonist, this enchanting city provided the perfect backdrop for her story to unfold. From its sun-kissed streets to its iconic landmarks, Florence was a place where creativity, innovation, and passion came alive. The betrothal. The art of strategic alliance. The Lucrezia-Albizzi union, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the rolling hills of Florence. Lucrezia's family gathered in the grand hall of their estate. The air was thick with anticipation, heavy with the weight of expectation. For tonight, Lucrezia's fate would be sealed, her future determined by the intricate dance of alliances and negotiations that had been woven over the past few months. The man of means, Albizzi, a name synonymous with wealth and power, was the chosen suitor. His family's fortune, built on the backbone of trade and commerce, was unmatched in the city. Their influence stretched far and wide, casting a long shadow over the mercantile community. Lucrezia's family had long coveted an alliance with the Albizzi clan, recognizing the immeasurable benefits such a union would bring. A calculated move, securing the family's future. The betrothal was not a romantic notion, but a calculated move to secure the family's future. In a world where power was currency, the union would catapult Lucrezia's family into the upper echelons of Florentine society. The marriage would bring with it a guarantee of financial security, a safeguard against the unpredictable whims of fate. Lucrezia's family had played their cards carefully, weighing the pros and cons, and Albizzi had emerged as the ideal partner. A new chapter begins as the family gathered to finalize the arrangements. Lucrezia's thoughts strayed to the unknown. What lay ahead? Would she find happiness with this man she had yet to meet? Only time would tell. One thing was certain, her life was about to take a dramatic turn. The die had been cast, and the fate of her family hung in the balance. In summary, the Lucrezia-Albizzi union was a strategic alliance forged to secure Lucrezia's family's future. This calculated move would bring financial security and cement their position in Florentine society. As Lucrezia embarks on this new chapter, she must navigate the complexities of her arranged marriage and the expectations that come with it. The Portrait Commission. The Art of Symbolism, unveiling the marriage portrait in 15th century Florence. A marriage portrait was more than just a romantic keepsake. It was a testament to a family's wealth, status, and power. For the Albizzi family, commissioning a renowned artist to paint Lucrezia's marriage portrait was a deliberate attempt to solidify their position among the city's elite. This masterpiece would serve as a visual representation of their prestige, flaunting their refined taste and opulence to the rest of society. The artist's vision, Mastro Leonardo, a celebrated painter of his time, was entrusted with the task of capturing Lucrezia's essence on canvas. With his keen eye for detail and innovative techniques, he set out to create a masterpiece that would surpass the expectations of his patrons. Leonardo's unique approach to portraiture involved not only capturing the subject's physical likeness, but also conveying their inner character and emotional depth. The portrait as a symbol of wealth and status. In Renaissance Florence, a family's status was often gauged by the splendor of their clothing, jewelry, and accessories. Lucrezia's portrait would feature an exquisite array of luxurious fabrics, jewels, and adornments, all carefully curated to reflect the Albizzi family's affluence. The artist's meticulous attention to detail would ensure that every fold of her dress, every strand of her hair, and every glint of jewelry would radiate an aura of majesty and refinement. A masterpiece takes shape as Leonardo's brushstrokes brought Lucrezia to life on canvas. The Albizzi family eagerly awaited the unveiling of their commissioned masterpiece. This portrait would not only immortalize Lucrezia's beauty, but also serve as a testament to the family's elevated standing in Florentine society. With every stroke of the brush, the artist wove a narrative of opulence, sophistication, and elegance, crafting a visual masterpiece that would be remembered for generations to come. In summary, the Portrait Commission was a deliberate attempt by the Albizzi family to flaunt their wealth and status, and Mastro Leonardo's artistic vision would bring this symbol of prestige to life. The resulting masterpiece would not only capture Lucrezia's beauty, but also solidify the family's position among Florence's elite, leaving an indelible mark on the city's cultural landscape. The artist's vision. The artist's vision, unveiling Lucrezia's inner essence beyond the surface beauty. E. When Lucrezia sat for the artist, she presented herself as a vision of elegance and refinement. Her porcelain skin, raven black hair, and full lips seemed to radiate an aura of sophistication. Yet, the artist saw beyond this facade, sensing that there was more to Lucrezia than met the eye. He sought to capture not just her physical beauty, but the essence of the woman beneath. The power of observation. To achieve this, the artist employed a keen sense of observation, studying Lucrezia's every gesture, expression, and mannerism. He noted the way her eyes sparkled when she laughed, the gentle curve of her neck as she tilted her head, and the subtle tension in her fingers as she grasped her hands together. These small details, often overlooked by the casual observer, held the key to unlocking Lucrezia's inner world, capturing the intangible. As the artist set brush to canvas, he sought to translate these observations into a visual representation of Lucrezia's inner essence. He chose a muted color palette, rich in earth tones, to evoke a sense of depth and complexity. The strokes of his brush danced across the canvas, weaving together the threads of Lucrezia's personality, her intelligence, her wit, her passion, and her vulnerability. Summary: the artist's vision went beyond Lucrezia's surface beauty, revealing a multifaceted woman full of depth and complexity. By employing his powers of observation and capturing the intangible essence of his subject, the artist created a portrait that was at once a likeness and a reflection of Lucrezia's inner world. The Mask of Marriage. Behind the facade of perfection, as I gazed into the mirror, the reflection staring back at me was a stranger. The porcelain doll-like complexion, the subtle smile, the perfectly coiffed hair, all a testament to the art of deception. I was Lucrezia, the wife of the esteemed Alessandro, mistress of the grand estate, and prisoner of my own making. The mask of obedience. In the early days of our marriage, I had thrown myself into the role of the dutiful wife, determined to please my husband and his family. I had traded my independence for the security of being Mrs. Alessandro. But as the months went by, the weight of my mask grew heavier. Every step, every word, every gesture was scrutinized, criticized, and corrected, ere I was a puppet on strings, dancing to the tune of Alessandro's expectations. The struggle for autonomy, but there were moments, fleeting as they were, when I dared to dream of a life beyond the gilded cage. I longed to shed the mask and be myself, to laugh without restraint, to speak without careful consideration, to love without condition. Alas, those moments were quickly snuffed out by the crushing reality of my situation. I was trapped, bound by the chains of duty and obligation. As I stood before the mirror, I realized that I was not alone in my struggle. Many women, like me, wore the mask of marriage, a facade of happiness and contentment that concealed the truth. The truth of resentment, of frustration, of desperation. And I knew that I had to find a way to break free, to shatter the glass that held me captive, before it was too late. In summary, the mask of marriage is a delicate balance of duty and deception, of obligation and oppression. It is a fragile construct, built upon the foundation of societal expectations and personal sacrifice. But behind the facade of perfection lies a complex web of emotions, desires, and dreams. It is a web that I, Lucrezia, am determined to untangle, no matter the cost. Beneath the surface, the weight of inheritance. As Lucrezia delved deeper into the mysteries surrounding her husband's family, she couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of claustrophobia. The grand estate, with its imposing architecture and perfectly manicured lawns, seemed to shrink around her, suffocating her with its secrets. Every whisper, every glance, and every hidden smile hinted at a world beyond the surface, a world she was determined to expose. Lucrezia's curiosity had been piqued by the cryptic conversations and awkward silences that seemed to follow her everywhere. Her husband, Alessandro, had always been tight-lipped about his family's past, brushing off her questions with a gentle smile and a change of subject. But Lucrezia was not one to be deterred. She had a way of sensing the unseen, a sixth sense that told her there was more to the story. One afternoon, while exploring the labyrinthine corridors of the estate, Lucrezia stumbled upon an old, dusty room that seemed to have been left untouched for decades. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and cobwebs clung to the walls like wispy fingers. In the center of the room, a massive oak desk stood, its surface scarred and scratched. A small leather-bound book lay open, its pages yellowed with age. As Lucrezia approached the desk, a chill ran down her spine. The words on the page seemed to dance before her eyes, taunting her with their secrets. It was an old diary, written by Alessandro's great-grandmother, Elisabetta. The entries were sporadic, but each one spoke of a family bound by a shared tragedy, a tragedy that had shaped their lives in ways both subtle and profound. And Elisabetta wrote of her husband's untimely death, of the suspicion and scandal that had followed, and of the whispers of a cursed inheritance. Lucrezia's eyes widened as she read on, her mind racing with the implications. This was no ordinary family. They were bound by a shared burden, a weight that threatened to crush them all. As Lucrezia delved deeper into the diary, she began to notice a pattern. Each generation seemed to be haunted by the same dark forces, as if the family's history was tangled in a web of fate. It was as if the family's very existence was predicated on the secrets they kept, the lies they told, and the truths they concealed. The diary's words echoed in Lucrezia's mind as she made her way back to her chambers. She felt like an archaeologist, unearthing secrets that were meant to remain buried. But she knew she couldn't stop now. She had to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As she drifted off to sleep that night, Lucrezia's dreams were punctuated by whispers of the past. She saw Alessandro's great-grandmother, her eyes haunted by the weight of inheritance. She saw Alessandro himself, his smile hiding secrets he dare not speak. And she saw the estate, its grandeur crumbling beneath the surface, revealing a labyrinth of secrets and lies. The next morning, Lucrezia awoke with a sense of determination. She knew she had to confront Alessandro, to demand the truth from him. But as she made her way to the breakfast room, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was walking into a trap, that the weight of inheritance would crush her beneath its surface. In the world beneath the surface, secrets are currency, and the price of discovery is steeper than anyone can imagine. As Lucrezia continues to dig, she will uncover truths that threaten to upend her world, forcing her to confront the darkness that lurks beneath the glamour and grandeur of her husband's family. The question is, will she be able to bear the weight of inheritance, or will it consume her, body and soul? A Life Unraveled. The shattering of mirrors. Lucrezia's life was a delicate tapestry woven from threads of deceit, secrets, and carefully constructed lies. She had mastered the art of presenting a flawless facade, a reflecting glass that mirrored the expectations of those around her. But beneath the surface, the threads were beginning to fray, and the fabric of her reality was slowly unraveling. The first crack in the mirror appeared on a typical Tuesday morning. Lucrezia woke up late, feeling like she was drowning in a sea of exhaustion. The familiar sensation of unease crept up her spine as she gazed at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. The usually polished, porcelain doll complexion was now a pale, sickly shade, with dark circles under her eyes. The piercing green irises, once bright and sparkling, looked dull and lifeless. It was as if the mirror was reflecting a stranger, a woman she no longer recognized. As she went about her day, Lucrezia couldn't shake off the feeling of being an imposter. Every step, every gesture, every conversation felt like a performance, a carefully choreographed dance to maintain the illusion of perfection. The familiar streets, the usual coffee shop, the well-rehearsed small talk, everything seemed off, kilter, like she was walking through a familiar landscape that had suddenly become foreign. The mirror's cracks spread, like ripples on a pond, as Lucrezia's phone began to ring. The calls she had been dodging for weeks, the messages she had been ignoring, the emails she had been deleting, they all came flooding back, like a tidal wave crashing against the shore of her sanity. The voices, once muffled and distant, grew louder, more insistent, as the dam she had built to hold back the secrets began to crack. The darkness she had tried to keep at bay started to seep in, like a slow, moving fog that wrapped itself around her ankles, then her knees, and finally her chest. The air grew thick with the weight of her lies, the stench of her deceit, and the crushing burden of her secrets. Lucrezia felt like she was suffocating, trapped in a prison of her own making, with no escape in sight. As the mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces, Lucrezia was left staring at the shards of her own reflection. The woman who had once been so confident, so poised, so in control, was now a fragile, vulnerable creature, exposed and raw. The cracks in the mirror had revealed the truth. Lucrezia's life was a house of cards, built on shifting sands, and it was about to come crashing down. In that moment, Lucrezia was faced with a choice. She could continue to pretend, to patch up the cracks, and reassemble the broken pieces of her mirror. Or she could confront the darkness head-on, shatter the remaining shards, and begin to rebuild her life from scratch. The decision would alter her fate, one way or another, and Lucrezia knew that there was no turning back. Summary. In this chapter, Lucrezia's seemingly perfect life begins to unravel as she confronts the darkness she has tried to keep hidden. The cracks in the mirror of her reality spread, revealing the threads of deceit, secrets, and lies that have held her life together. As the mirror shatters, Lucrezia is faced with a choice to continue pretending or to confront the truth and rebuild her life from scratch. The decision she makes will alter her fate forever. The legacy of the portrait. The portrait as testament, the year was 1513, and Lucrezia's world was about to be turned upside down. She had just been forced to abandon her home and leave behind everything she held dear, including her cherished marriage portrait. Painted by the renowned artist, Giovanni Bellini, the portrait had been a symbol of her love and union with her husband. But now, as she gazed upon its surface, she saw something more, a testament to her own resilience and strength. Art as resilience throughout history, art has proven to be a powerful tool for transcending time and circumstance. It has the ability to capture the essence of an era, convey emotions, and tell stories. Lucrezia's marriage portrait was no exception. As she clutched the canvas, she felt the weight of her husband's absence, but she also felt a sense of determination wash over her. She knew that this portrait was more than just a painting. It was a reminder of the love they shared, a symbol of her strength in the face of adversity. A window into the past, the portrait was not just a reflection of Lucrezia's past, but also a window into the world of Renaissance art. Bellini's masterful use of color and light transported viewers to a bygone era, where nobility and artistry reigned supreme. The intricate details, the subtle expressions, and the majestic backdrop all served as a testament to the artist's skill and craftsmanship. Summary. In the face of uncertainty and loss, Lucrezia found solace in her marriage portrait. It became a symbol of her own resilience, a reminder of the power of art to transcend time and circumstance. As we gaze upon the portrait, we are reminded of the enduring legacy of Renaissance art and the impact it continues to have on our lives today.